Hello, everybody. This is Elijah Smith from Iconoclast Germain, here with another video to lend my helping hand to the world's biggest clan. How you doing? Today we're going to talk about narcissistic versus the narcissist. There is a huge difference. It's not always apparent. The actual narcissist exists sort of like on a bell curve, and human beings exist in between not being one. The non-narcissist. We just call it that to be easy. Most people exist in here, which means most people are narcissistic to one point or another. If they weren't, they could not survive as babies. They have to be selfish and self-interested to one or more degrees. There's a lot of great videos out there about abuse by narcissists, and some of them do not clarify that. Some of it is just narcissistic or selfish abuse, childish abuse, or unaware abuse of other people. Most men are narcissistic, but most men are not narcissist. What is the difference? I've done some narcissistic shit in my life. I've hurt people, and people have hurt me. They've done narcissistic shit to me. The difference is I actually gave a fuck. Narcissists don't give a fuck about anyone but themselves. They are the reverse end of a codependent. And they have to have someone who is needy for attention, who's very, very childish and learned helpless and hypersensitive in order to get away with that shit. Because the narcissist does not give a fuck about anyone. They're out for their own attention, their own money. They're out for, they're out to get their needs met in dishonest, fucked up ways, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. That differs from most people. That somewhere along the line, you're going to find some people that don't have much of a give a fuck. They're sitting around here, right? They're sitting around here. And then you have some that are just barely, and you're like, why don't you take better care of yourself? Why don't you think about yourself first? You can't help other people if you don't help yourself first. These people are going to be right through here, right? Bordering on codependency. There is a class of narcissistic behavior that is benign. And what that is they get their selfish needs by contributing to the society or group as a whole, not necessarily just for its own good. That they're out for their own good, but they are actually contributing. There has not been any newer studies, and the problem with all this, since there hasn't been any newer studies, is that right now most of the Western world lives in a hyper narcissistic society. Instant gratification, me, now. We've all struggled with it as children. Sometimes we struggle with it as adults. I definitely have. I've fucked up so many times it ain't funny. And when we become aware of it, our guilt and our shame lead us back into either benign or non-narcissistic behavior. The codependent, when they go back to the narcissist or narcissist people, or highly narcissistic people, um, are just as narcissistic, just in a flip of the coin way on the other side of the coin. Most of the time, what a lot of videos are dealing with these days online is malignant or bad narcissism. Just where you get hurt and hurt and hurt, and you know the motherfucker ain't good for you, and you still keep going back. You sort of can't help it. It is like a chemical addiction. It is a bitch. Some have likened it to cocaine addiction. Some have likened it to all kinds of shit. And it's true. And it's true. I've been there. I imagine a lot of y'all have been there. And the malignancy, the malignant narcissistic behavior will use a person instead of saying, listen, or they won't man up or female up and say, listen, this is over. You know, in time, not to do as much harm. When you're too afraid of that breakup, that you gotta break up with somebody and you don't. That's narcissistic in ways. A highly narcissistic individual will be like, well, as long as he or she is buying this, doing that, doing this for me, fuck them. I've told them, you know, there ain't nothing there. You know, and there's a lot of confusion over that. So there's a big difference between narcissistic and the narcissist. Now, I don't know the percentages on each opposite of the bell curve. It used to be around from 2 to 7%, maybe 10% at the highest on each of the extremes, codependency and narcissist. Not narcissistic. Narcissistic is all the way up and through here. Because like I say, if you don't have some form of narcissism, then you're not going to do what it takes to eat. You're not going to do what it takes to get fed. You're not going to leave the house. You're not going to do shit. And it's not like codependency because you're not reliant. You just truly just don't give a fuck about yourself. Nothing or nobody. And you would die. You would simply die. So there it is in a nutshell, the issues or problems I've seen with the videos coming out now. And if you like this video, if it's cleared up some things about narcissistic or childish, selfish, egotistical, and egotistical is another hotspot. I think I'm going to cover ego and egotism. Some great places to look at narcissistic abuse and abuse by narcissists. There's Find Your Freedom. That cute girl is awesome. There's Inner Integrity. That cute girl is awesome. There's a half a dozen. I might mention the rest in some of my other videos. One of the male points of view is Richard Grannon of Spartan Life Coach. That motherfucker's badass. Hey, motherfucker. But he's badass. He breaks it down. But to me, I see it as, it's not so simple as someone's a narcissist or not. It's just not that simple. Because it dwells in, narcissistic is a selfish, childish, me, instant gratifying behavior. A lot of people that are so-called drug addicted or have abuse problems with substances or are troubled user of substances will have a lot of narcissistic behaviors. A lot of so-called codependents will take on a lot of narcissistic behaviors. And sometimes that's a good thing. With the codependent, it's good because they're getting out of that learned helplessness, right? They're going towards the middle, towards independence. But what we really want to do is have interdependence, somewhere where we can be independent and be with someone else. And that is easily intellectualized, not always easy to get to. So if this has been help to you, and if you need help with anything else, text me at 1-270-943-6 7691. If you feel like you've been abused by some of these types of people, rewind this video, listen to some of the channels I mentioned, or just look up Narcissist. Also, if this clears up some things, hit the subscribe and like button. And if you need help and I can help you, just text me. Text me right now at 1-270-943-7691. Get up off your asses. There ain't no need to put it off. There ain't no I would, but he might not answer my text. And no, I'm telling you right now, if you really, really want the help, I can help you, or at least point you in the right direction so you can get started quickly. Alright? I love y'all. Peace.